WA, gross rent multiplier, GRM in real estate. Gross rent multiplier is a simple tool used to evaluate income-producing real estate. It gives a rough estimate of a property's value based on the rental income it generates. GRM allows investors to quickly compare similar properties, providing a rule of thumb for determining if a property is worth further analysis. What is GRM? GRM is the ratio of a property's price or value to its gross rental income. Unlike more detailed metrics like cap rate or cash-on-cash return, GRM does not account for expenses, vacancies, or financing. This simplicity makes it easy to use, but it's also less precise because it doesn't consider the costs associated with operating a property. GRM formula. The basic formula for GRM is frac property price or market value. Components of GRM, property price or market value. This is the purchase price of the property or its current market value if you're using GRM to assess an existing investment. Gross annual rental income. This is the total income the property generates in a year, before any deductions for expenses, taxes, or vacancies. This includes rent paid by tenants, but does not account for other income streams, e.g. parking fees or laundry income. Example of GRM calculation. Let's say you're evaluating a rental property with the following characteristics. Property price, $500,000. Gross annual rental income, $50,000. Using the formula for GRAC 500,000, 50,000 equals 10. In this case, the GRM is 10 tis, meaning that the property's price is 10 times its gross annual rental income. How to use GRM 1. Compare properties. GRM can be used to compare similar properties in the same market. A lower GRM typically indicates a better investment, as the property generates more rental income relative to its price. For example, if two properties are for sale at the same price, but one has a lower GRM, higher rental income, it may be a more attractive option. 2. Estimate property value. You can also reverse the GRM formula to estimate a property's value based on its rental income and the typical GRM for the market. Text, estimated value text, gross annual rental income. Example. If you know that properties in the area typically have a GRM of 12 and the gross annual rental income is $40,000, the estimated value of the property would be text, estimated value equals 40,000 times 12 equals 480,000. 3. Quick screening tool. GRM is commonly used as a quick screening tool to eliminate properties that don't meet basic investment criteria before doing more in-depth analysis, such as calculating cash flow, cap rate, or ROI. Limitations of GRM. While GRM is a simple and useful metric, it has several limitations. 1. Does not account for operating expenses. GRM looks only at the gross rental income, ignoring the property's operating expenses. Two properties might have the same GRM, but if one has much higher expenses, property taxes, maintenance, insurance, etc., its actual profitability will be lower. 2. Ignores vacancies. GRM assumes that the property is fully occupied throughout the year. In reality, properties may have vacancies that affect rental income. 3. No consideration of financing costs. GRM doesn't factor in mortgage payments or financing costs. It assumes a cash purchase, which can be misleading for investors who are using debt to finance the property. 4. Overly simplistic. GRM is a blunt instrument for comparing properties. More sophisticated metrics like cap rate and cash-on-cash return give a more complete picture because they account for operating expenses, vacancies, and financing. GRM versus cap rate. GRM focuses solely on the property price and gross rental income. It's a simple ratio that ignores expenses and financing. Cap rate goes deeper by using net operating income, NO, instead of gross rental income. The formula for cap rate is text, cap rate, NOI. Cap rate accounts for expenses and gives a more accurate picture of a property's income-generating potential. As such, cap rate is preferred by investors who want to assess the true profitability of a property. For example, a property may have a low GRM, indicating good income relative to price, but if it also has high operating expenses, its cap rate could be low, signaling a less profitable investment. GRM is useful for quick comparisons, but cap rate is better for evaluating long-term profitability and risk. Wabash. Real-world example of GRM. Suppose you are looking to purchase an apartment building and have the following options. Property A. Price, $600,000. Gross annual rental income, 60,000. Frac 600,000, 6010. Property B. Price, 700,000. Gross annual rental income, 80. Frac 700,000, 80,000 equals 8.75 success. At first glance, property B seems like a better deal as it has a lower GRM, meaning it generates more rental income relative to its price. However, this is where the simplicity of GRM can be misleading. If property B has significantly higher operating expenses, such as higher property taxes or more maintenance, its actual profitability may be lower than property A. For that reason, it's important to use GRM as a first step and then proceed to more detailed analysis, such as cash flow or cap rate. How to interpret GRM. Low GRM. A low GRM typically means a higher return on investment based on rental income. It can suggest that a property is undervalued or generates higher income relative to its price. However, low GRM can also indicate potential risks like higher expenses, maintenance issues, or property location challenges. High GRM. A high GRM indicates that the property's price is high relative to its rental income. This might suggest that the property is overvalued or that the rental income is too low for the price. It's common for properties in high-demand areas, such as major cities, to have higher GRMs because of the potential for long-term appreciation, even if the rental income is relatively lower. How GRM varies by market and property type. Location. GRM can vary significantly by market. Properties in urban areas or prime locations might have higher GRMs, while properties in less desirable areas might have lower GRMs. Property type. The GRM can also differ by property type. For example, commercial properties or luxury rentals often have different GRMs compared to single-family homes or multifamily apartments. In practice, you can find out what the average GRM is for a specific area or property type by looking at recent sales and their rental income. This will help you set a benchmark for evaluating other properties. Conclusion. Gross rent multiplier, GRMs, is a straightforward and useful metric for evaluating the price of an income-producing property relative to its rental income. It allows for quick comparisons between similar properties, but is best used as a preliminary tool. Because it doesn't take into account expenses, vacancies, or financing costs, it should be followed by a more detailed analysis using metrics like cap rate or cash flow to get a clearer picture of a property's true profitability. In summary, GRM formula, property price, text, gross annual rental income. Use GRM to compare properties and get a quick estimate of value. Always follow up with detailed metrics like cap rate or NOI for more accurate analysis.